Hello, and welcome to an episode of ES Repair. I am your host, Mr. Fix-It. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can set up a home wireless network using only one internet connection. Now, many things today, such as TVs, Blu-Ray players, you have smartphones, you have tablets, such as the iPads, you have eBook readers, the Kindle Fire, the Nooks. A lot of these technology today have Wi-Fi capabilities. Now I'm going to show you a simple procedure to where you can share your single internet connection with all your TVs, all of your electronics that do have Wi-Fi capabilities. And it is fairly simple. What you'll need is a router or a switch, is what they're sometimes called. And they are made by different manufacturers such as Netgear, Linksys, Belkin. There are different types of routers. Some of the newer ones are wireless in, which do have an overall improvement compared to the older versions. Well, I'm going to show you the router and how to set up a router. Now keep in mind that the router may be different than the one you have. I do have an older version that I have been using for years. Now the router that you buy may be somewhat different, but I will go over the basics as to what you need to do to help hook up all your components to your internet or to the router. And later I will show you how to keep your internet network or your wireless network private and encrypted. Here we have a typical router. This is both a wireless and it also contains Ethernet. And these are called broadband routers. Now these routers come in very handy because this allows you to share your internet connection. And it acts pretty much like the post office does, which I'll explain a little detail later. Now the first thing you have to do is, once you get it out of the box, you can look at the front, and the front you'll have indicators. Now the indicators will tell you about your internet. This shows you the activity and if it detects any. It shows you the port. This one here has 4. This is for the Ethernet or the wired connections. It does have the wireless LAN. This shows you for the wireless activity. It shows that it's turned on and it flashes if any activity occurs. You also have a DMZ, which you won't have to worry about. This is for special circumstances. This is to allow certain computers to be visible on the internet for games and stuff. And you also have the power indicator to show that the power is turned on. Now you also have a button on some of these to help with the security functions to get all your devices connected to the router. Now on the back you have connectors such as this. Now your router may be different. As I said, this is an older version. Here you have the antenna connectors to where I can connect the antennas. A lot of the newer ones, such as the N versions, they do not have external antennas. Some do, but because of the efficiency of the N routers and stuff for the technology, a lot of them don't have external antennas. Now on the back of these, you'll notice that you have Ethernet connections. You'll also have a reset button. and you also have a power connector. They will come with a CD, they will come with the power connector, and they will also come with a small Ethernet cable such as this, to where you can connect it to your cable modem or your DSL modem, whichever the case may be as to how you're getting your internet service. What you'll have is these here are your ports. This is for your Ethernet. This one here can handle up to 4 computers connected by wire or Ethernet. This connection, which is set by itself, is your internet connection. This goes to your DSL modem or your cable modem, and this is basically all there is to the router. And again, you know, you got your front here, shows you what goes on, and as you can see, they're pretty small. This one here is a wireless G, and it is compatible with wireless Bs too. Now, the router that you choose to get will probably be an N. They're starting to become popular over the wireless G, and a lot of this is because of their throughput capabilities and the distance or the range that the router can function. Now, these do operate around 2.4 gigahertz. So when you place these in the house, you want them in the middle of the house. Keep it away from any cordless phones, that's including the base, and keep it away from microwave ovens, because these devices do operate around 2.4 gigahertz, and this will help reduce interference. Now, let me go show you how to get this router set up. Now, once you have your router placed, be sure that it's away from microwave ovens, cordless phones, especially if they operate around the 2.4 gigahertz range. Microwaves do. Not all cordless phones do, but just for a rule of thumb, keep the router away from cordless phones. This will help reduce interference. I will also show you other ways that you can help reduce interference, but be sure that you keep them away from the walls. Keep them at least 2 feet or more away from the wall. As you can see here, I have this one here sitting on a case, and I'm going to show you the connecting these up. You can move that out of the way, turn this around, and you'll see the back once again. You got your power connector, your reset button. Now the reset button's in case the router malfunctions and it stops working correctly, then you can hit the reset button, which, keep in mind, hitting the reset button will erase any settings that you made to the router, and it will go back to the default setting by the manufacturer. Now, first thing you want to do is plug in your computers using the Ethernet cable if you have any. I will show you how to do the wireless version momentarily. But if you do, go ahead, hook your TVs and Blu-ray players up to any of the ports. If they're going to be hardwired, it doesn't matter. You got 4 abilities here. The next thing you want to do is take your internet connection, which comes from your broadband modem, which would be your cable modem, DSL modem. You'll plug it in the internet connection, like so, and they are labeled as to what they're for. You can't see it clearly because it's imprinted, but a lot of them, they will indicate ports 1 through 4, and they will indicate which one's the internet. This has to go to the modem or DSL device that has access to the internet. And then finally, you plug it in, and everything's to go. Now I've got the cord tied here so it won't go anywhere. Now, turning it back around, and you'll notice that power is now on. And another thing you will notice is you got your light here. This is the security setup, which I'll show later. You got your power. DMZ, of course, you don't have to worry about it, so it'll be turned off. The wireless LAN, which is flashing, it's showing that there is activity because I do have a smartphone, laptops, other computers, and things that hooks up to this router. And you'll notice that as long as they're on, it shows that the unit or that feature is turned on. Now, you'll also notice the 1 through 4, which is the Ethernet ports. Now, neither one of them will light up unless the computer is turned on. And I don't have it hooked up currently because I was using it to work on other people's computers. And you'll also notice over here towards the end, this is the internet. Now, this light will come on to indicate internet. Some routers only have one light, and if it turns green, it means that it does detect internet. If it turns orange or red, it means that no internet has been detected. But this one here will show you the activity that goes across all the computers and shows you if there's any activity through the internet. Now, once you have the router connected, the next few steps will be fairly simple because a lot of this is automatic. Here we're looking at my desktop. Now, I apologize if it seems a little fuzzy and stuff, but I'm just using different software and stuff trying to get the most quality I can out of these videos. When you get your router up and running, you can have two choices. You can have you'll have the icon down here in the bottom. Now you'll notice down here, if your Wi-Fi is working, you'll notice that it does say that there's wireless networks available. Now if you click on it, it'll also show that there's our wireless networks available. Now clicking on it, it will show you all the wireless networks it has detected, and it will show you the name of the network. It'll show if it's encrypted or not. If it's got the little icon there with an exclamation point, it means that it's not encrypted, which I will show you later. It shows you that it's an unsecured network. It also shows you the signal strength that you have. You can highlight it and then choose connect. Now, if you have an Ethernet connection, you don't go through all these steps. This is mainly for wireless connections. Now, you'll get a response if the computer was able to connect to the router. It will say so, and choose close. Now, you'll notice down here in the bottom right hand corner that it lists what it's connected to. Now, you may get a thing that pops up asking you what type of connection this is. Now, it will also show you how you're connected. Now, we can choose Network and Sharing Center. Now, I'm using Windows Vista here, but it's basically all the same. This will come up, and as you can see now, it shows you the network I'm going to. Now, you can choose Customize, and you can choose if it's a public network or if it's a private network. And since this is your home, choose Private. Now, you can see all of the connections. It shows you all your sharing capabilities, what you can do, what the computer is allowed. Manage network connections. This lists all of your network, internet network capabilities. I do have a mobile one that uses my smartphone. The Ethernet that you can use, this computer here has dual. I can either use Ethernet, which is the wired version, or I can use the laptop wireless version, which, as you can see, it is showing that it is connected. Now, you should be able to get onto the internet, and you can click this if you're having problems, and it will detect any possible problems that you may have. And what this does is the router checks to see if there's any kind of internet. Now, once the computer connects like this, the computer will check to see if it can access the internet, and if it can, your icon down here will change to where it says access is local and internet. Now, if you're using your network sharing center, it will also show that you're using the internet. Now, you can also choose view status. Here it shows you how you're connected. The media state, which is enabled, which is your videos and all that. The SSID, that this is the network you're connected to. The duration shows how long you've been connected to that network, and the current speed that you're connected to. Now, I'm using wireless G, so the maximum throughput would be 54 megabits per second. Now, if you're using wireless N, you can go up to 300 megabits and higher. You can choose details. This will help when troubleshooting and stuff. This will give you information that you may need for tech support by giving your IP addresses, DNS servers, anything that you need to help solve internet issues. And this is basically all there is to set up your internet. Now, as I said, this is pretty basic. It's mostly all automatic. Next, we're going to use the Internet Explorer. You can use Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, just anything that you use to browse the internet will work. To set this up, we're going to show you things that you could do to make changes to your router. Now, the documentation does come with the IP address or a website address that the router uses for access. And you will need to provide a username and a password, because most of these are protected. And choose login. Now, it will bring you up to the main page. Now, this is the main setup page. Now, if you click status over here, this will show you the overall status of your network. And as you can see, I have an IP address. I do have my subnet mask. I do have a default gateway. This shows you what IP address has access to the internet. Your DNS servers, I have two of them on here because I have two ways to access the internet. My MTPU or my MTU is set for 15. This is just an overview of how your network is connected. Your local network, this shows you your IP address and all your information. The clients table will show you all the computers and devices that's connected to the router. And wireless will show you the mode that it's using, whether it's B, G, N, or combination. The current broadcasting, if your DHCP server is enabled, your channel that it's currently using, and if you have any encryption turned on. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of things you can do. First, going through the basic setup. You can choose your language that you use. Automatic configuration, which is DHCP. Most chances your ISP uses this function. all it does is automatically configures your router to access the internet. So you don't have to mess with it. The ISP automatically tells the router what it needs to know to access the internet. You also have your router's name. The host name and the domain name is not important. That's only required if the internet service provider requires it. If they do, you can get the information from them. MTU, it's best to let the router choose. You can choose manual, and you can choose between 1200 and 1500. If you choose auto, then the router will automatically decide what will be best. Local IP address. This refers to the router's IP address. You'll notice that this is the IP address that you had to use or enter to access the setup page. Now, you can choose any IP address you want, which I will show you later on, and probably another video as to how to set these up. You also have a DHCP server for networks under network setup. You want to be sure this is enabled. This will allow you to the router to configure your computers, tablets, iPads, whatnot, anything that has Wi-Fi capabilities to connect to your router, and your router will tell your computer exactly what it needs to know automatically. Starting IP address, it will start the next number up, but as you can see here, I've got mine starting at 249, and the maximum it will go to is 253. The maximum number of DHCP users I have set for 5. Now, this isn't important, but you can use it to decide how many computers or devices that will be allowed to connect to your router. And this will show you the IP range of your network. Client lease time. You do not have to worry about this unless you have quite a few computers or electronics that connects to the router. All this does is describes in minutes how much time the computer has for a specific IP address, and then when that time comes, it automatically resets it and assigns a new IP address. Now, you can leave it on 0. It's not necessary unless you have a whole bunch of electronic devices connecting to the router. Static DNS, you don't have to worry about it. I have this set up for my network because I have 2 separate networks that are interconnected. This is why I have this set in there. But as long as you have your DHCP set up here, you don't have to worry about it. It's automatically configured. You can set your time zone that you're in. You can also set your automatic daylight saving changes. DDNS, you'll probably come across this. You don't need it unless you're hosting a website on your own computer. MAC address clone, you can disable it. Sometimes the ISP requires a MAC address to be registered when you access their internet service. You can have it clone your PC if you wish. Advanced routing, this is only used for multiple routings or multiple routers that are used in your network. You don't have to worry about this. Next we have wireless. Wireless here is set up as to how you want to set up your wireless. Now I will go through all this. You can choose if you want the Wi-Fi turned on or off. If you're going to just use Ethernet, then you can turn the Wi-Fi off. If you're going to use Wi-Fi, you can also choose what version. Now today's wireless has an N version, which is have a higher, more advanced routing. This one here only does B and G. Now you can choose which ones you want. Now, if you have a mixture, if you got some computers using B, some computers using G, some devices are using N, then you need to use mixed. And this will allow all the different devices to connect to the router. If everything is one version, then you can choose B only or G only or N only. But if you have different versions, then you need to leave it on mixed. The wireless channel, this is important. If you're in the United States or Canada, you have 11 channels to choose from. If you're over around Europe, you have 13 channels. Japan, I think, has 13 channels. What this does is it helps reduce interference. Like I mentioned earlier, between cordless phones and microwave ovens, because they use around the same frequency, if you're discovering that you're having some interference between them, this will allow you to change channels between channel 1 and channel 11. It shows you the frequency that each channel is using. This will help reduce interference. Wireless SSID Broadcast, by default they're enabled. What this does is allows the router to broadcast itself as a network. Remember down here, when you connect or disconnect to a network, it shows you the name here. If you don't have a name on here, it will show unnamed, and I'll go into detail on that later. But that's what the SSID broadcast does. It tells the router to broadcast itself to say, hey, I'm here, and this is who I am. You have the security stuff, which we'll go into later. You have wireless security, which in this moment is disabled. You have different versions, which I will go through in another video. Wireless MAC filters. This comes in handy in security. I will show you how to do all this later in other videos. You can prevent certain computers from accessing your router, or you can permit certain PCs to access your router. And as you can see, this is what I have mine set up for. And what this does is when you enter a MAC address, it will only allow a computer that matches that MAC address to access the router. Another advanced, this section you won't have to worry about. All of this is default, and unless you're having some problems, then you really don't have to worry about this section at all. Security, you have the firewall that the router is built in. You have it blocks anonymous internet requests, filtered multicast, port 113. It just has different. It's a basic firewall, but it blocks most of the most common ones. Virtual private network, you don't have to really worry about it. Most of everything that you're going to do doesn't require this, so if it's disabled, leave it. Don't worry about it. Access restrictions. Now this comes in handy if you have children and they have their own computers and stuff. You can use this to identify which PC, which also uses the MAC address, as to, you know, what times of the day that they can be on their computer can go on the internet. And you can also use website blocking by URL addresses or certain keywords. You can also block certain services such as internet, security, the mail, different types of protocols that's used on the internet. And you can choose the day of the week they're allowed to use it, or if they're denied to use it certain times of the week, certain times of the day. Applications and gaming. Now, I really haven't seen any applications or games that required this. What this is most ports on the computer are shut out from the domain, and this keeps people from accessing your router. But there are times that a game has to have a certain port open in order for it to function over the internet, and that's what this section is for. And you can do applications, what port range. This is what the game requires or the software requires. Port triggering, same thing. A lot of this you won't have to worry about. DMZ, you don't have to worry about this either. What this does is allows a computer to be accessed by the internet. It means it's showing your computer on the internet for everybody to see, and you don't want to do all that. Some programs, which I haven't come across any, requires it to be turned on, and this allows you the computer to identify the specific IP address of the computer to be used or be shown visibly on the internet. Now, to do this, you'd have to have static IP addresses. Quality of service, which is QoS. This is a feature that was used to identify what has priority over the internet. Like here, we can choose bandwidth. I have mine disabled because I don't have no need for it. I can show which computer has what priority. I can show applications that have priority and what specific port they use. You also have Wi-Fi multimedia support, and this is supposed to allow multimedia like streaming video and audio to have priority over other things. Administration, this is all the setups. Again, this is the router password. You can change it. This is the password that was given to you in the documentation. You can go, the best thing to do is go ahead and change it. Access the server, which is the router. You can choose either HTTP or HTTPS or both. You can have it access the router wirelessly. If you don't want people accessing the router via Wi-Fi, then choose this disabled. And in order to access the router, you must be wired to it using an Ethernet. This will help keep neighbors or anybody that can log on to your Wi-Fi from accessing your router. Remote management, this allows you to access your router from anywhere. Then you can use a port number to access the router. You don't need to worry about this. Leave it disabled. For UPnP, enable it. There's a lot of programs and video that uses this protocol. You can use allow users to configure it. You can enable it. This allows anybody on the network to configure it. You can disable it to keep people from turning off or blocking the internet access. The log, this comes in handy because you can log anything that goes in and goes out. Especially if you have children, you can log in. It shows you everywhere they go. You can go to Diagnostics. This comes in handy for having internet problems. This can help solve problems. Factory defaults. This is like the reset button to where you can restore it by back to the factory. Firmware upgrade. This is somewhat important. You may need to go to the website of the manufacturer to download an update. It's not common, but if the problems were detected in previous versions, then this will allow you to update it. Configuration management. Now this will come in handy. Once you have your router set up, you can choose backup, save the configuration, so in the event you have to reset your router, you can come back to this and then choose restore, and this will put your configurations back to the router and will save you a lot of time. Well, this is all there is to basic setup for your internet wireless network for your home. And as you can see, it's basically simple. Everything is fully automatic, and it's pretty much plug and play. Well, I'm your host, Mr. Fix-It. Thank you for watching.